freaking VLC media player to just convert files. I'm so stupid. It's been years of like, let me upload it to this sketchy website that'll like strip the audio and like, oh, it's got a size limit. It's like, oh, you can actually just open it up and like convert it in the fucking thing. Oh, I'm dumb.
Linux VLC for the win yet again.
Yeah.
Stick it to the man, Windows.
Stick it in a man? I'll do that.
I'm sure you would. That's one of the many funnies that I had ready for today. During my many hours of not reading comics this week and actually just scrolling banana lengths of Reddit, I saw a meme screenshotted from some other social media. I don't know because I'm an old man. There was an official article, I think it was CNN, or something like actually recognized. It wasn't a BuzzFeed. It was something actually, recognized. The headline said, the reason why so many people are saying fresh avocado tastes like clean dick, or something like that. And a comment on the article link on the social media website is somebody saying, nice try, whatever source it was. But you're not going to get me to try fresh avocado that easily. And I swear it was Spencer. But that's not the story that I want to start this episode with. Tonight, I was playing Magic card games with my Magic card group. We started at noon, local time, because I'm still touring with my band. And I made it very clear that I had to leave by 7:30-ish because of when we need to record. But about 6 o'clock, we started a new game, and there were 6 of us. So a typical game of Commander Magic card games is 4 players, just in case you don't know. You've never played Commander Magic card games. 4 players is the ideal number. We had 6 of us. So we played a different form of Commander Magic card games where each person is playing a role. So there's a king who has extra life, and the king is trying to survive. He's trying to kill everybody. There are 2 bandits trying to kill the king. There's a knight who is trying to keep the king safe. So if the king kills everybody, including the knight, I think, the knight wins as well, despite dying, because the king lived.
This sounds like some cucky Game of Thrones shit.
There's a usurper who's trying to kill the king, and if the usurper kills the king, then the game kind of resets, because then the usurper has the same life amount that the king started with, which is more than everybody else. And then there's an assassin who's trying to kill everybody and is trying to be the last man standing. But everybody's roles are secret except for the king. So in a 6-person game, everybody knows who the king is and who that person is, but nobody else. And they're trying to play all kinds of mind games, politics of like, ooh, you hit that guy, but that guy hit the other guy. So who are you? Who's he? It's a lot of fun.
So it's Mafia, but with magic.
Yes, exactly.
It sounds like torture for my brain. I want to play it.
It's a lot of fun. It's very confusing until it's not. And it's like, oh, I know who you are. We all know who you are. But anyway, I was the assassin, and everybody agrees that the assassin is the hardest role to play because everybody has to die, including the king. So I had very low hope because I'm not very good at Magic card games. But I was doing really well, and everybody at the table was at like 10 life, which is incredible. It was like a really, really, really close game. But it was 7:45. And people were like, don't you need to go? And I was like, why? And they were like, your podcast, you had to go like 10 minutes ago. I was like, no, my podcast can eat ass. And everybody lost it. They were like, I can't believe you just said that. I would love to hear you say that on your podcast. I was like, bet? And so here we are. me saying my podcast can eat ass because I almost won Magic card games.
I will volunteer to take a hit for the team.
No, you're not allowed. Colin gets priority because he's not here.
That's true.
Why buy a comic you might get as a surprise? Santa's coming soon, so you all better be nice.
I am Spencer, the guy who doesn't play Magic cards, but pretends to know things.
I mean, you have played Magic card games before.
I have played. I can play, but I don't play. There's a difference.
See, the difference is you only play it when you're held at gunpoint.
That's true. Or close enough. My heater is going crazy. It's actually cold here, so like it's finally winter. It's December 1st, and when we had snow over Thanksgiving, and that like we've had like 3 days of like daytime below zero ice.
Jeez, I didn't know about the below zero part.
It's been fun. It's been fun. I actually wore a jacket yesterday.
You what?
Yeah, I still have shorts on. It's been breezy. I've been bringing a hat to work, which means I look a lot more like my coworker who looks like me but wears a hat and also plays Magic. So it's been fun.
Just fold the beard over into a hat.
It's not quite long enough for that yet, but
it's close. Yeah,
I can cover I can get up to like in my nose.
You can cover the nose. You don't have the bright red nose.
Not yet. Give me like 20 more minutes and a bottle or two of wine. I am joined by Jacob, the one who does play Magic and looks nothing like me.
Hello. I can fold my hair up into a hat.
You can fold your hair down and up into a beard.
That's true.
Just throw it over and then down under the chin, and you have like a weird inverted non-beard face shield.
I have considered it before, unironically.
Fair enough. So we have the news because there's no Colin. Because Colin says news is stinky. And for once, he'd probably be happy because there is very little news. So last time we discussed the news from last month, it was banana long. Not just because I edited it, but because there was just like a metric fuck ton of shit. Mm-hmm. This time, we have very little stuff. I tried, and there just wasn't much. So Jacob will be happy, I suppose.
4 whole articles. Yeah, my alarm says I go to bed, I wake up and get out of bed in less than 7 hours. So I'm happy to get this over with.
True. From DC.com, in 2025, DC is getting the band back together in the form of Green Lantern Corps number 1, an all-new DC All-In ongoing series debuting at participating comic book shops and digital retailers Wednesday, February 12th. Following the events in Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Civil War Corps event and the recently announced Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum one-shot, Hal Jordan will need all the help he can to protect the galaxy and stop the rise of the deadly fractal lanterns before they unleash chaos and death across the entire galaxy. Green Lantern writer Jeremy Adams is joined by co-writer Morgan Hampton from Cyborg and DC Power, with artist Fernando Pasarin from The Flash and Green Lantern, and Eau Claire Albert from Batman Urban Legends and The Flash have teamed up together to bring Jon Stewart, Jessica Cruz, Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner, Joe Mullion, and fans' favorite Green Lanterns in an incredible cosmos-spanning adventure. This also got my attention. I say also because I'm stupid. I didn't mean to say also. This gets my attention because I actually followed both of the Green Lantern runs for the first, I believe, 10 issues that started last year. I like them both equally or close to. They're both really good. Jeremy Adams is a writer I have like no familiarity with outside of that run, I suppose. So it's cool. You expand the roster. It's crazy, right? It's almost like this is how Green Lantern comics work for like all the time. You have a run that's like the A team, and then they break up, and then you have one that follows one dude and another one that follows a dude, and they get back to their roots, and then they get the band back together, and then the band gets their ass whooped. This is the cycle it goes through like all the time, and I love it because it doesn't seem to get old because every like 4 years they add a new like main Green Lantern. The artist picks are really good. Cool. Yeah, let's go. I don't know. I might pick up the Fractured Spectrum one shot just because I'm curious. I haven't read this run in probably like 6+ months. Either the main Green Lantern run or the War Journal run, which is the brain. I'm dumb. John Stewart run that's also an ongoing right now. So maybe I'll just poke around and check that out. But like, yay, Green Lantern, good.
I haven't read Green Lantern since Jeff Johns Omnibus Volume 2. So
I remember when you reviewed that.
A long ass time ago.
There's colors. There's more colors.
I literally read 1,400 pages in like a week.
It was impressive.
And then I was like, I'm tired.
Fair.
Speaking of, I gotta check the pizza. Hang on a second.
Pizza. Damn, look at that ass.
It's almost ready, but I can read this next article from comicbook.com. Predator vs. Spider-Man is the next major crossover event between the Marvel Universe and 20th Century Studios. With Disney possessing the 20th Century assets, we've started to see some of the studio's popular franchises like Predator and Alien make their way to the comics since like 2020. That's my own inclusion. Along with publishing Predator and Alien comics, we've also had these formidable space figures clash with Marvel heroes in Predator vs. Wolverine and Alien vs. Avengers. As Predator vs. Black Panther comes to an end, we can now look forward to 2025 and Spider-Man's clash with the Predators. Plural. The Predators will take their hunt from Wakanda to New York City in 2025 with an anticipated showdown with Spider-Man. After penning Predator vs. Wolverine and Predator vs. Black Panther, Benjamin Percy returns to write another Predator vs. story with artist Marcelo Ferreira joining him.
Benjamin Percy go. I might actually go read these now. I'm getting kind of intrigued that they've made like 3 back-to-back versus runs that all take place like together. It's not just like a random. I thought it was a gimmick at first, and it's like, oh shit, this is actually kind of like an ongoing between different characters. That's kind of neat.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like when Predator versus Wolverine happened, everybody was like, wow, blood and guts, and everybody just kills the shit out of each other. Incredible. But because there's so many rights involved in the story, there's going to be the obligatory, but then through the power of friendship, they kill Godzilla. Like, it feels so we can't legally kill one or the other, so it's just going to be a big fight and everybody wins and becomes friends. But with it becoming the third installment and the third character, I'm kind of interested to see if any character has actually died or if it's just they kick the shit out of each other and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Definitely worth checking out. Also, it makes me. I remember Alien versus Avengers got a really good reception. I was also very cynical of that because I haven't loved the recent Alien books that much. They just didn't really do it for me. They were fine. They just weren't really up my alley.
That was kind of my point with my cynical. We've been reading that since 2020. Is like I jumped on the first 2 of those runs and was like, wow, this is straight ass. This doesn't tickle the pickle.
Yeah, but apparently Alien versus Avengers kind of did, because like Esad Ribic was on art, which is a crazy pick, and I think it was Hickman writing, maybe.
Wow,
it was a very high profile one. I don't remember. That was announced a while back, but apparently it got a really good reception. So maybe
I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe there's some more shit going on.
Mayhaps
down here. Maybe it's a lead up to a new Predator versus Alien versus Marvel IP crossover thing. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be great?
Speaking of, not included in the news, but because Predator, we did get like a secret announcement that there's actually 2 new Predator movies coming next year.
I'm so glad that didn't go where I thought it was going. We actually got an announcement that a comic book artist is a predator.
Yeah, I think we already know most of those. They kind of give the gambit away when they like include their fetish in the book. It doesn't help.
Yeah.
Although I also have respect for people when they just include their fetish in the book.
Maybe you shouldn't say that on air.
Maybe that's true. I don't know. You're the editor. You have power. But yeah, we have like 2 Predator movies coming out next year. One was the announced like another anthology entry from the same team that made Prey, and then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, actually before that comes out, we made a whole another movie from the Predator's perspective, and it's like, wait, what the fuck? Okay. I think not worth including in the news, obviously, but I was just like, I remembered because Predator.
I'm interested because a decent portion of Predator 2 was from the Predator's point of view, so I don't know, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And Predator 2 was pretty fucking dope, honestly. I don't like that one didn't get, like, nobody talks about it.
Yeah. It's not awful.
No, it's not, like, iconic like the first one, but it's pretty dang good.
Yeah. It mixes things up well enough.
Yeah. From StarWars.com, Star Wars Visions is returning to its anime roots with 9 new shorts slated for release next year. At the 2024 Disney APAC Content Showcase, it was exclusively revealed that Star Wars Visions will debut a 3rd volume in 2025. The award-winning series first premiered in 2021 with 9 shorts by 7 different Japanese animation studios celebrating the mythology of Star Wars through unique cultural perspectives. Last year's 2nd volume took the imaginative series on a global tour featuring animation from across Japan, India, the UK, Ireland, Spain, Chile, France, South Africa, South Korea, and the US. Now with Volume 3, the animated anthology returns to where it all began with 9 shorts from 9 different anime studios, including returning contributors Kamikaze Duga, Kinema Citrus Co., Production IG, and Trigger, the GOAT. The next installment will also introduce 5 new anime studios to the world of Star Wars. Anima, in co-production with Kamikaze Duga, David Production, Polygon Pictures, Project Studio Q, and WIT, another GOAT, to further demonstrate the diversity and creativity of Japanese animation. Maybe we can actually get Colin to show up to this show, because whenever we talk about Visions, it's either like the best fucking thing ever or like low-key dog shit, but it's so fun to go over. Like... Hell yeah.
It's really weird, too, because it's like... We watch a lot of anthology shows on this show, but Star Wars Visions is the most interactive that we've had. And a lot of Colin's points of like, no, this is straight dog shit, are pretty valid. I'll back up most of them. But the ones that are bangers are really, really good. And it beats out like any Marvel anthology shows or whatever that we have.
Yeah. What if you suck? Yeah. So looking forward to this.
Our last bit of news. From CBR.com, DC has shared a first look at Aquaman's new comic book series ahead of the launch of the DCU. The new title will be part of DC's All-In publishing initiative. The new series is led by Jeremy Adams and John Timms. The debut arc, The Rising Tide, will pit Aquaman against an army of giant water-based kaiju monsters, further establishing the character's role in the core DC universe and reminding readers how he is connected to the events of the DC All-In special. Aquaman #1 goes on sale January 8th, 2025. Honestly, if you're going to do a big Aquaman series, big Kraken SeaWorld kaiju is a really good place to take it.
I agree.
I don't think I've read an Aquaman book.
I have a good one to start with. Well, other than Andromeda, you read Andromeda.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But the 80th anniversary special was really good. Obviously, it's an anthology, and like a few of them are relevant to recent runs or whatever. But I had that one, and I did really like that. I'm quite looking forward to this. The art looks really good. Obviously, yeah, kaiju. I think it's also a good place to start as like an entry level because like Aquaman has a lot of really cool political intrigue bullshittery, and like really interesting and thorough like cultural bias stuff going on when it really gets running. But like most people don't really want to just pick up a book and be like, holy fuck, I thought this was about the guy who can talk to fish. So I think you need to like kind of start out more
goofy.
Yeah, or just kind of over the top and like simple blockbuster stuff before you can kind of get into those sorts of meat and potatoes. So I definitely think starting with kaiju is a good spot. And the only thing that is like disappointing, I guess, is it doesn't sound like Jackson Hyde is going to be a big part of this run. I was really excited when they gave, I think it was 2022. It was like a co-led run, Aquaman. I think it only went for like 10 issues. But that was really good because Jackson Hyde is like a dope-ass fucking character as Aquaman and Aqualad and all the moist man things. So it's kind of disappointing that he's going to take the back burner, but it's kind of inevitable whenever you have a run restart. Any sort of legacy torch bearing is going to always get reset to an extent, which is why comics suck, and I am never going to read one again.
Well, speaking of...
Oh, shit. You stole my transition. Go for it.
I watched a thing so that you don't have to, which is a joke because I know you're going to do anyway, just because you hate yourself.
I do.
I watched Watchmen Chapter 1.
Yo, motherfucker. I was about to do that this week, you cucklord piece of fucking trash.
Eat ass.
Part 2 came out like 2 days ago. Motherfucker.
Did it really?
I think so. That. Motherfucker. I wanted to be the only one with an opinion about a new thing. Fuck you.
Directed by Brandon Vietti. It came out in 2024. It is 84 minutes long, which is an hour 24 for those of you that can't math quickly. And it's a mostly one-for-one translation of the Watchmen book written by Alan Moore, the evil wizard that lives in the woods and hates everybody. It makes books that say, fuck you, I hate you all. It was weird watching this movie because, as we've said before on the show, why the fuck is DC making another iteration of Watchmen? Because we have the book and we have the movie made by a little known Zack Snyder guy. And I think there was a cartoon as well. Already?
There was. So, no, actually, this is really funny. There's a fake cartoon intro for like a kid's 90s like Batman type show. That's fake, but there was a motion comic, which is really good. And it's a motion comic, so it's like we're running one-to-one.
Yes. And then they're making Watchmen again. And it's not even like before Watchmen. And it's not Doomsday Cock.
Speaking of, part 2 has a Doomsday Cock apparently in it. There's a thing.
Interesting.
I'm gonna kill myself.
So, it's hard being on the road with my band touring across the country in bumfuck Arkansas every single night because I don't have my copy of Watchmen to run to and be like, oh shit, has that scene changed by one little iota? Because that's how I remember it, but has it changed? I gotta know. Because, yeah, it's mostly how I remember it. It's impressive in comparison to how similar it is to how I remember the book being, but also how the little guy you may have heard of, Zack Snyder, made it in relation to the book. It's hard having been through the story so many times, and obviously Zack Snyder's version is different, but not by much. It's hard to differentiate what's new, what's changed, what's old, what I've seen before, what I'm remembering right or wrong. The one thing I did notice especially in the last couple minutes of part one, this movie, is that the pieces of the Black Freighter are chopped up and read over some of Ozymandias's scenes while he's doing things, so it's easier to understand the allegory that the Black Freighter is in relation to Ozymandias, which I didn't get the first couple times, but there was one viewing that I actually had with Spencer watching the uncut super duper extra long edition of Zack Snyder's Watchmen, where he was like, "No, you're stupid. The Black Freighter is an allegory for Ozymandias."
That's the super long cut where Rorschach puts his stinky unwashed penis in the beans.
But while we were watching it that time, I was like, I don't even understand why the Black Freighter is included in the book and has to be included in the super duper long cut of the movie. And he was like, no, it's talking about the bad guy of the movie. It's a metaphor. And I was like, oh, I don't get it.
Me suggesting you a movie.
So I appreciate that in this version because it spoon feeds me the allegory, and it makes it a little bit easier to understand. So I'm kind of excited to see part two and like try to understand more of it, because I don't understand metaphor very well, very easily. That's really the biggest difference I caught, though, was just how those scenes are meshed together differently. I think the Black Freighter is included less, a little bit, than the book has it, but more, maybe, than Zack Snyder's Super Duper cut. I don't know. It's really hard to tell. There's there might be little shorter scenes with characters. I think it has like the basics for sure, but I think some of it's been trimmed down a little bit, but it feels mostly the same. What do you think?
I like
wow
it.
Wow, thank you.
I'm gonna fucking watch this animated bullshit. I'm gonna hate it, and I know I'm gonna hate it just because it doesn't need to exist, but like,
for having such a hate boner, you're like, I like it.
I like the movie because it's the movie, and I like the motion comic because it's the comic but for babies. And then this thing is like, also I hate the fucking animation. Like that was the first.
I was gonna harp on that. The animation is dog shit.
It's fucking 3D and cel shaded like garbage.
Yes. There are some really harsh motions where I haven't seen a motion, the motion comic version, but I would think the animation in that is better than this. It feels like people trying to make panels of a comic try to move and try to make it look 3D. It looks bad.
Yeah, I think it was the first trailer or the teaser. I was like, oh, this is sinful animation. It's the thing I hate the most, is when it's a 2D thing that's like, actually we use 3D because it's cheaper, but we try to make it look 2D. Like, that's my bone to pick with 99% of fucking anime, is random inclusions of 3D models. So,
and I don't know all the science and particulars of your hate boner for that in anime, but I can see it in this. It is egregious. It feels so cheap and awful.
Big oof. Are you going to watch part 2?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I like... This will count as my yearly or bi-weekly run-through of Watchmen. It is a very monumental story, and there are so many impressive layers to it. And it's difficult to reread the book so frequently to pick up on all the layers in the story. It's nice to have a visual version of it, and it's cool to have. It's helpful to have a different iteration of it where they mix some of these scenes together so that it's spoon feeding the story to me. To be like, oh, I never caught that layer of it before. That's interesting. That's yet another thing that I didn't notice the many times I've been through it. Which only makes Alan more cringe. But whatever. The pain of being smarter than 90% of your readers. Whatever.
True. He just recently wrote an article about how like fucking fandom is like killing art, and I creamed myself.
I was gonna say, I read the headline and was like, yeah, he's right. I didn't read the article though.
I bookmarked it to read later, and I was like, when I have a bit of time, and then I read it, I was like, go off, King. I say on a podcast.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mostly liked it, but it feels like a cash grab.
I like money. You know what was also made to make money?
Wait. I was going to say the voice acting was there. I mean, you had Katie Sackhoff as what's her face? Miss Jupiter. The junior, Miss Jupiter Jr.
Well, never mind. 10 out of 10, I will be seated because Katie Sackhoff in my nuts.
But that was pretty much it for voice acting big names, if I remember correctly. And even then, it was like, it didn't even really sound like her. There was nothing outstanding in the voice acting. It was there. It existed. It felt like people playing parts. It didn't feel like, yes, I believe in this role.
Yeah. Damn. Every day, I'm like, damn, I don't want to be a grumpy asshole. And then Alan Moore speaks, and I'm like, damn, bitch is right. I'm going to be like him.
So now that you finished that PBR, give us your thoughts about life and things.
Oh, no, this is PBR 2. You know what else was also just kind of made for money?
PBR?
No. PBR is made to keep concert goers happy. Or also called Me in My Bedroom at 3 a.m., trying not to wake anybody up, but also play metal really loud.
It's only 12:30 there.
I said, I didn't mean right now. I mean later. Later, you want to come over and play metal really loud, but also really quiet so I don't wake anybody up. Yeah.
3 hours from now?
I should be asleep by then.
That would be a very quick flight.
Yeah. Venom: The Last Dance is hot fucking dog shit. Unexpected. This was not. As a resident Venom hater and lover, because I'm me, and I can't pick an opinion, brief synopsis of my opinions. Venom, the first one, is unnecessary, but like had some moments and was accidentally funnier than it thought it was, which was cool. The characterization is garbage, but Tom Hardy had fun, so I'll let him do it. And he said he did it for his kids, which I respect. Let There Be Carnage was low-key kind of better. It's still dumb, and the characterization is also still dog shit. But also, it just decided to be really gay about it, which was very fun. This one does both, and it's so much worse. So, the marketing campaign is like, it literally, I'm looking at the poster right now, and it says, "Till death do they part. My brother in Christ." So the best part about these stupid dog shit movies that shouldn't exist is Tom Hardy talking to himself in an earpiece and just being fucking weird. And there's like almost nothing, like there's almost no shenanigans in this one. Not because it takes itself seriously or that it does itself like too earnestly. He just doesn't have screen time. It's really weird. And also, he's phoning it in like fucking crazy. I don't know if there's a bunch of different interesting reasons, I guess, like how this could have come about. The big one is that between movies 2 and 3, there was a renegotiation of the Sony Spider-Man film rights bullshittery. And also there was a leak maybe 6 months before Madam Web came out, which is probably one of the large reasons why that movie was as fucked over in editing as it was, like pretty substantially substantiated, was that like huge plot parts were changed because of a leak. So that thing got chopped and screwed, and a lot of those things seem to follow into this. It's not quite as hacked to bits, but the basically the same leak that happened from Sony had a lot of information about this movie, and none of it applies anymore, but most of it makes fucking sense. So like trying not to just believe a leak about like plot points on face value, because you can lie on the internet for free. I love spreading disinformation. However, the plot leaks were stupid, but they made way more fucking sense than this thing does. It's really weird. It sounds like the original version of this was basically Tom Hardy. So the original version of Madam Web was that they were trying to protect fetus Parker, fetus Peter Parker, and then they completely fucked up that bit because they wanted to change it last minute to be about a bunch of teenagers or whatever. And it seems like this is also trying to set to follow like Eddie finding like a 10-year-old Peter Parker and then not killing him because he gets attached to him or some shit. It's really weird, but like if you watch this, you'll understand what I'm fucking talking about. There's a really weird side plot with a family and a boy that has a butt ton of screen time with Eddie. There's a bunch of Eddie pining over like being an old man, even though all 3 of these movies take place within a year. Like wanting to settle down and missing his fucking fiance, or ex-fiance, who isn't in this movie at all, which is great because that subplot was dog shit. But also it really feels like it's missing from this one because it's this whole like nostalgic, oh my gosh, one of the 2 of them are gonna die, and oh, it's so sad. And it's like, bitch, what about the whole other motivation? Like, where did that go? The road trip element is garbage. I was really hoping that would save it, but there's just no fun road trip shenanigans. There's also large amounts of screen time dedicated to other characters who seem like they either had larger or very different roles in either earlier screenplay or earlier edit. Also, this movie went back for reshoots after the most recent SAG-AFTRA strikes, which probably impacted this in that aspect. So they had a lot of like potential time to just reshoot a bunch of shit afterwards, and just completely change the plot. So like, I don't know, man. Performances are bad. Like at least in the first 2, there's some people having a ball. Because in the first one, Tom Hardy is the only one who understands he's in a bad movie, so he's having fun with it. And then in the second one, Andy Serkis kind of directed it like he knew he was making a bad movie, and that kind of helped. This one it's not funny for the most part. It tries, but it's just not entertaining on that level. The action is worse. Not like the action in these was ever great, but it was at least watchable. This is boring. It's unfunny. The times when it does try to get serious with either Eddie and Venom or any other characters are extremely poorly placed or done with like copious amounts of voiceover. If I have to hear the phrase when like thunder rolls head indoors or some shit, I'm gonna lose my, like, this is like there are 2 bears inside of you type shit. Like, I'm losing my mind. They said the same stupid phrase so many times in this movie. It's insane. They completely blew the potential multiverse setup that they had. Not in a good way either, because I was mad about that because I didn't want it to touch Spider-Man, even though I don't even like Tom Holland's Spider-Man that much. but they go to this movie starts in the MCU for like 4 minutes. Then they just multiverse travel back to the exact same bar in the Sony universe with the bartender is the same guy, but he has a different haircut, which is funny as a bit, but they just don't do anything with it. So it's like, oh, that stupid post-credit scene, both in Venom and also in Let There Be Carnage and in like No Way Home, we're both just completely wasted here. Like, what the fuck? Fucking Null was definitely added in post as the quote-unquote bad guy of the movie. He doesn't do anything, and he's literally in 3 scenes and doesn't move a muscle because he's paralyzed and trapped in prison. Like, I mean, at least he was voiced by Andy Serkis, which was neat. But again, they also are building this up as some, ooh, look, it's the finale of a trilogy, and it's so sad, and they're going to die, and Tom Hardy's done with the role because he's getting old, because no shit. And then it's like, oh, right, Null, the bad guy that gets defeated off screen because they don't actually fight him. And then they're setting him up as like Sony's fucking Thanos. What the fuck are you cooking, bro? I don't understand. It's so stupid. I'm having more fun talking about this than I did in any moment of this movie. Best part of this movie was Venom Horse, followed by Venom Fish, followed by Venom Frog. And also, Eddie looked like a mermaid with Venom tail for a moment. I think I was the only one who's picked up on that. I have yet to see any smart people on Twitter be like, Venom mermaid. But he did indeed look like a mermaid for a second, which was interesting. This is, I think, technically more coherent than Madam Web, but I think I'd actually rather watch Madam Web because it's like how poorly it's made sometimes or how much it's been edited is actually funny. Like carrying around unopened Pepsi cans or whatever. Like that movie is entertaining in its own wrong way. This is just boring. It's boring. It's unfun. It's unfunny. It fucks up its own internal logic. There's one good scene in the movie, and that's after spoilers, but you don't care. The Venom symbiote dies, Eddie gets to live, and there's this cute little montage. Like it actually ends like a rom-com where he like goes to the whole like road trip element is like Venom wants to see the fucking Statue of Liberty. So at the end of the movie, it's like, I'm gonna remember my roommate friend who took over my body and almost killed me a billion times. And then like they play sappy music with like really big panning shots, and it's not played for laughs, it's actually sincere, and it's the only part of this where I feel like Tom Hardy was acting at all. So both the fact that I'm describing it is funny, but also the scene is actually decent. It's just, what the fuck? There's a post-credit scene and an end-credit scene. They're both stupid. Sony has no clue what they're doing. We've been over this a million times before.
Notorious end screen, post credits scene hater.
Yeah. Also, yeah. There's that. The one thing about this that I will say moving forward for Sony, I actually have some level of faith in, is this weird Spider-Man noir series they're producing for Amazon Prime that's being headed up by excuse me. Shit. Sorry. What are those names? I'm dumb. Name. Where is it? Come on. Lost it. Come back. Edit all this out to make me sound smart.
I refuse.
You should, because it'll be cool. Lord Miller. I'm dumb. Like, that's the only thing about this that actually sounds interesting, because that seems to be entirely disconnected from all of Spunk, because Spunk is also 2 timelines now, because Venom and Morbius take place in one and Madam Web is in another, again, because all of this got so fucked up in editing. So that Spider-Man Noir series sounds cool. One, because the set photos look good and it has a cool creative team, but like it has no bearing on these at all. It's not connected, so that's cool. Null is not just a Venom bad guy anymore, and Venom's dead, but Tom Hardy says he'll do it again, but he also said he wants to be done, but also he doesn't care anymore, but also he wants to meet Tom Holland, but also Venom's dead, but also there's a post-credits scene where some of the goop gets on a cockroach. I'm not joking. That's how this fucking movie ends, is a cockroach gets Venom.
There's goop on a cock.
Yeah, That I can't. I need to be done with this. I can't do it. I'm losing my fucking marbles.
I think Venom said he's done with it, but Tom Hardy said he'll keep going. Is it my turn now?
Yeah, please take this away from me. I can't.
Well, speaking of so mediocre, it's forgettable. I watched Lake Mungo.
What's that name? I know that name.
You were muted while you were saying that. It is a horror movie from 2008. It is 87 minutes long. It's directed by Joel Anderson.
Oh, shit. I remember this.
Oh, shit. It's very long and drawn out and kind of boring in a Paranormal Activity kind of way. I don't think I've even finished the first Paranormal Activity because it's so long and drawn out and boring. It's like, I know the ghost is going to do something scary eventually, but holy shit, can he do something scary yet already? Please? Please?
Oh my gosh, the bedsheet moved.
Wow, that scared the shit out of me. I'm so scared.
Mm-hmm.
Lake Mungo, a 16-year-old girl dies in an apparent drowning, and her family is grieving in a true crime documentary style presentation, I guess. And they trust the local psychic to tell them why she's suddenly getting caught on these weird pictures and videos being taken, but it turns out to be a farce, which was the best twist of the movie. I'm sorry for spoiling it. That's about halfway through. But it turns out it was fake. But it turns out she might actually be a ghost. And she did some awful things when she was alive, but then she had this overwhelming sense of dread. So actually, she was a Zoomer before her time. I was bored watching this movie.
Sounds like it.
I had read that it was like, oh my gosh, this was so scary. I didn't sleep that night. People need to go outside because this was this was a solid 3 stars. Like, yeah, it's technically a movie. It's trying to ride the coattails of Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity. I don't know the dates of those movies, but it's around about the same time. It's definitely trying to feel found footage-y. It was right at the peak of that style of horror movie. A lot of the actions that the characters take in the movie don't make sense outside of the story that the movie is telling. Like, yeah, it's fitting for like the true crime documentary style, but if you read the chronology of events like in a line, it's like it doesn't make sense. It's dumb. It's very dumb. I didn't like this movie very much.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
I put it at number 57 out of 98 this year. It's in between Mother and Species 2.
Damn. Yo, you have Mother that low?
Watchmen Part 1 scored higher on my list.
That tracks.
It got 3.5 stars because what it's based on is a really good story.
True.
But the animation's dog shit. Your turn. Wrap us up. Watchmen. Ooh, it's right here. Hang on. It's near the top. Show me. Why doesn't it show me what number I'm in? Harump. Wait. Number 29.
Damn.
That's not bad. It's It's in the top third of the year.
Okay, well, I have something good, actually.
Wow.
Which is nice, because this has been a depressing episode. I read Precious Metal, which is a 6-issue miniseries that is a prequel to Little Bird Volume 1, The Fight for Elder's Hope, which I talked about like 3 years ago. It was an Eisner Award-winning book. Little Bird Volume 1 was, anyways. It was an Eisner Award-winning book. It was suggested to me by a staff member at Jetpack Comics, our local comic book shop, and it was fucking great. It was ridiculously dense, but it was incredibly high-effort art with really good world building and cool characters, and it's very rare that I just, like, ask someone for a book suggestion, because I'm bored. That just doesn't really happen. And then, I love that so much that now I went and got this issue by issue, also from Jetpack, which was cool. So it takes place 35 years before the main book. And I guess the best way to synopsize the plot is just to read the description from the Image Comics website. 35 years before the events of Little Bird Volume 1, The Fight for Elder's Hope, disillusioned mod tracker Max Weaver's routine hunt for a modified child takes a grisly and unexpected turn. Now saddled with an unpredictable mod who may be the key to unlocking his missing memories, Max will soon find he isn't the only one interested in the child's unique abilities, and if he wants to know more, it's going to cost him everything. So if that description didn't just tell you that this is a cyberpunk story, it's a cyberpunk story, by the way, just letting you know. And it's basically following a Blade Runner, but like not really, but like kind of. It's written by Darcy Van Poltergeest, who wrote the first book, with art by Ian Bertram. I still don't know how to describe this art. I do believe that the art in this is better than in Little Bird. I think a lot more of that is because there are more dream sequences and flashbacks and metaphors going on and stuff and things, which is cool. The only person I think I could remotely compare this art to would be... I'm so dumb. I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I'm so stupid. There we go. The only person whose art I can remotely like compare this to is the peoples who did Doctor Strange False Sunrise Sun Moon of the Butt Cheek, the Trad Moore and his wife Heather Moore, who does his coloring, I believe. It's not even really similar. It's just the only thing I can think of that's even remotely fucking close. Very abstracted forms, a focus on psychedelic imagery, I suppose. I don't know art, so this is the only way I can describe it. But like, I think that does make it like really fucking interesting to pick apart in a good sense.
It's not psychedelic art. It's based on the mathematical function found in nature. It's also seen in Glass Onion. It's where the envelope is hidden. It's called... I never remember the name of it. Come on, you gotta help me.
I don't know what you're talking... I mean, I know what you're talking about. Also, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not the Pythagorean theorem. It's something like it.
It's a math thing. I don't give a fuck. I like art. I don't like math.
Yeah, but that's what Tradmore uses like all the time in his artwork, is the fucking 4chan mathematical function.
I don't know. Whatever. It's the only thing that's close. But yeah, it's very cyberpunky. There's also a lot of noodles. Literally, there's like squids and noodles and arms and stuff. It's gross. Just like Little Bird. I think this is
Fibonacci sequence.
There we go. Yeah, I don't know if that necessarily translates like over to Bertram's art, but it's certainly close. I don't know.
Swear to you, I've read Tradmore saying he uses it like all the time.
I don't doubt it. The plot is cool and cliche, and I love it. Especially when you have stuff like cyberpunk, which is like a sub kind of genre that just plays its tropes straight. Love that shit. Not doing some meta ironic wink and a nod. Look, guys, we're so smart, but we're doing it anyway. Like, just do it straightforward. I don't care that your tech noir protagonist has missing memory and is an alcoholic. I'm here for that shit. I don't care. Don't tell me it's overplayed and overdone. I don't give a fuck. I do think it's better than Little Bird by a small margin. It follows a lot of obviously the same themes of like transhumanism and like technological developments and technocracy and a weird type of Christian nationalism taking over the planet, or at least the continent. I don't fucking know. Like, there's a lot of things that are similar. It's the same world, obviously. But I think because it focuses on a protagonist who fits more cleanly into a type of stereotype and cliche of being like the washed up Blade Runner dude, I don't know. I think it fits better. Which means it's easier to get invested in his story. The art is a little better. I have no direct comparison. I just liked it more. Colin would punch me in the dick right now. This one very nearly got a 4 out of 5, but I think it ended up at a 5 out of 5. I read it issue by issue. Each one, I believe, was $5, so it's $30. I'm pretty confident the trade paperback will be released for $20. It's Image Comics, so they tend to be a little bit cheaper, but because it's a mini-series and not like an ongoing that got canceled, but then they still sold the paperback for $10, like Image usually does, I'm pretty sure this one will be $20 or $25. I think either of those prices is entirely reasonable. I'm glad I got it issue by issue. I hope there's like a deluxe version of this eventually. I don't say that very often, but it's such a foreign type of art to me. That I have no real experience with, but also it's so wildly interesting. And also it took them like 4 or 5 years to make this, and they're not done at all. They basically said they have more books planned, some other prequels, some sequels. Like they're so into this, and it's only the two main people and like their I think inker and colorist and editor that like. Even if this didn't fit perfectly into my interests, I'd probably still like it and follow it because like they're so clearly dedicated to having their own thing that I just fuck with. I fuck hard with it, you know? Just like, yeah, we met each other randomly and now we make comics and we're going to do this until we die. Fuck you. Like, I don't know. There's something very respectable about that.
Do you know what else is respectable?
Giving us money on Patreon.
Wow, how did you guess?
Because I actually updated our Patreon this week. We only have 3 tiers now. It makes a lot more fucking sense. I updated it because I'm smart and I did my fucking job for once.
College.
That's funny. That's a next year problem, buddy. Caitlin and Jeff Lawrence went to patreon.com/dimecomicbros network, and they give us money every month, which is greatly appreciated because sometimes we do dumb things like get bad books or good books.
Or we just don't record, and that's bad.
That's also bad because then we're just collecting a paycheck, just a parasite, you know. Ayn Rand would personally kill me with a brick, but that's her problem because she also died on welfare. So I don't know if she should be talking shit about welfare. Anyways, before Spencer has a fucking aneurysm about Ayn Rand, yeah, give us money. We have 3 different tiers on our Patreon. I believe it's $1, $5, and $15. Everyone, all of our patrons get early access to our podcast whenever we record and get it up on time, which means we release it early on Patreon most of the time.
Which means I have 2 episodes to record, to edit this week because I suck.
You're busy being in a band. I'm not in a band. What the fuck do I have to do?
I played 3 shows last night.
Fair. I had a chair thrown at me yesterday, so.
Wow, we do the same job.
No, you had tomatoes thrown at you. Ooh, a tomato chair. But yeah, they also get exclusive access to happy hour segments where we crack open a drink, talk shit, talk shop, meme and cream and I don't know, drop slurs, whatever comes into our little brains, including when I come in Colin's ass, which only happens like once a month because Colin is busy actually making comics or whatever.
It has never happened, actually.
That you know of. Also stickers and bookmarks and all sorts of other fun stuffage over there. And you get your name shouted out and blah, 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 blah. The usual things you'd expect from a Patreon. You know how this works. Also,
I'm just going to say, you must not be a very good gay because you haven't turned Colin gay. And he's like right there already. So if you haven't done it, ain't nobody going to do it.
That's probably true. Funny story, speaking of that. Today, we were watching television at work, and one of the clients was asking one of the other clients, like, oh, wow, have you, like, seen this movie before? I don't know, like, the dude on the screen was hot. And I, like, chuckled along in agreement because I was walking by, and then the client was just like, I don't even know. It was a whole weird diatribe that involved me accidentally answering questions that were not intended for me and just being a fucking... It was really funny.
So it was one of the actors from a gay movie?
No, they were watching Pirates of the Caribbean. The bad ones, too. The bad ones, too. But there was just a hot person, and I was like... And they're like, bitch, we didn't fucking ask. And I was like... It was funny. I can't repeat the entire exchange, but it was very funny.
So it was Javier Bardem, and you were gooning.
I was not gooning, and it wasn't Javier Bardem, although it was that movie, which is dog shit. Speaking of gooning, I goon every time I go into Jetpack Comics and Games because they have body pillows. They don't have body pillows, I think. Yet. You know what? I need a body pillow of Kyle. I think that would be entirely appropriate and good for our business relationship.
But only if he's drawn like an anime girl.
Ooh. Now I'm getting interested. Colin, new project. I need you to draw all of us as anime girls.
Please finish this so we can do happy hour and go to nights.
Yeah, so my entire half of my diatribe today was about a book that I got recommended because I got recommended a book at Jetpack, and I was like, oh shit, this shit slaps actually. If you want to go to a local comic shop and find people who actually know what the hell they're talking about and also are fun to be around, because sometimes those two things do not coincide, go to Jetpack. They have a lot of staff who are very knowledgeable and fun and actually give a shit about doing their job in like a cool, fun way, because comics are dope. And if you want to work in a comic shop, don't be a fucking asshole. You get to talk about Batman all day. What are you mad about? Yeah, give them your money.
What are we doing next week?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Next week, there is no podcast because we're not doing that exactly that way. But our next episode will be Captain America White, which is me and you and Colin. And then after that, Dime Gaming Bros returns after a moderate hiatus. Hiatusy, if you will.
So I have 3 weeks to finish my gaming homework.
Correct.
Excellent.
Same. Yeah, tune in next time for more bullshit. And I don't fucking know. What are you doing still listening?